everybody, and welcome back here on Eiersholt farm. It is still midsummer. We're waiting for plants to grow, but actually today we're going to do a job up here at the top area of the farm. There's a new mod out that allows us to build bale stacks, and that's going to help a little bit in terms of general performance, in that not all the bales are going to be lying around the area all the time. And generally it's a good place because I reckon a decent amount of our straw, actually most of our straw, is probably going to go into the cow shed right here. So we're going to clear a little bit of an area here. We're going to try and get some of all these bushes and stuff taken out. We are going to have to cut down a tree or two as well. It's going to be a little bit of trial and error, since we're going to have to figure out how we get the placeable to work best. We're probably also going to have to get a stump grinder, but we need that for some of the forestry work we've been doing. As you can see, we're up to just over 400,000 euros. So that's pretty good. So without too much further ado, I'm gonna try and get this cut down. Now the problem is, it's kinda an awkward tree to cut down and get rid of, so we might simply end up dragging it over to the side, or lifting it with the log trailer or the log front loader to begin with, because I don't want to end up cutting it into 1,000 pieces right when we're trying to build a replaceable. Let's see if we can find the right place to cut this thing. Actually, we're going to get a stump grinder on it, so it shouldn't matter too much. I don't know if this one, let's hope it doesn't fall onto our car. No, it's not that big. Not sure if we need to take more than the one out. I think one should actually be adequate around here, so that's good. So we are going to have to head down to the shop and pick up a stump grinder as well. But it's only 20 past 8 in the morning, we've got a bit of time. So the Massey Ferguson is right over here in the shed. It's just finished doing all the morning duties for the animals, but we can now get the shovel changed out with our log grabber, which is sitting over here in the shed now. I moved it down from the forest, as I reckon we're more or less done with logging. Obviously I hadn't taken this opportunity into account, but I think it'll be good to be able to put the bales there. So this bale stack should be able to hold around 160 square straw bales. I have no idea how many we're going to be generating, but thinking that in hay terms we got 94 out of the grass field alone. Obviously it's not directly compatible. We're probably, I don't know, we might end up filling the whole thing and having even more. I think if we fill it more than that, we're probably just gonna be selling the rest. But for now I am going to attempt with a capital A here to get this tree just lifted a bit out of the way. This could get messy, but let's give it a shot. Just gotta find a good place to try and get a hold of the main trunk, perhaps. Like so. Let's see if that will work. Yeah. It's not looking fantastic. At some point we'll try and get a hold of a wood chipper or something like that. That'll help us get rid of this, but for now I'm just gonna try and, whoops, can't see a thing here. Try and put it down over here like so. It seems to have done the job. And then I think what we're gonna do, we're just going to hop into the shop and find our placeable to see if the area is roughly the right size. Probably won't accept going in underground right now. So into placeables, into miscellaneous, and here we are, square. So it's not expensive, at least. It's in fact quite cheap. So now I just have to try and get this maneuvered around. I think it's this way around. There's a sort of loading area in front of it that looks at things. Yeah, it collides with other objects. That's fine. That's probably the tree stump. I'm hoping it's the tree stump anyway. Excellent. So that actually looks okay there. So I'm not going to buy it right now, obviously. We can't. But it's a good indication that I think we don't need to cut any more trees down at least. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the stump grinder put onto the Massey Ferguson here. So we're just going to drop off the rear weight so we can put it on. And then we'll be back up. We'll start doing a little bit of landscaping. We got shovels and things for both the front loader and the Massey, so we should be able to do that with the tools we already have on the farm. But we do need the stump grinder, so I will see you down at the shop in just a moment. So we're coming up to the shop now, and one of the things I've just realized is, of course, that I have put in the increased fuel mod, increased fuel consumption mod from Realismus, which is great because I think it is more realistic, but I just realized that our Massey here is actually running a bit low, but we should have plenty to get back. We just got to remember to keep an eye on it over the next couple of days as we're working, but I'll go in and talk to them about getting a stump grinder. So here's the piece of machinery that we're looking at buying. It's not terribly expensive, at least, and it should do the job, both just to clear out that one tree that we need done right away, but also up in the forest when we start replanting, which will be later in the year. So we're going to buy this one outright rather than leasing it. It's actually quite a sizable piece of machinery, so we better put some hazard lights on here. So I'm going to turn off, and I'm kind of going to take the back road, just so we can have a look at the forestry area and see how much of it has been cleared, because there's been a fair bit of clearing going on, but there's also actually quite a lot left. And in the summertime we can look out longingly underwater on the people that are enjoying their summer holidays, having fun. Maybe we'll head down and maybe see if we can come out on a little trip, or at least just sit down by the water and admire the boats. That might be a nice thing to do on a summer's evening, since we don't have that much going on the farm right now, at least. So here's our area of forest. So you can see a fair bit of the hill on this side here has been cleared out. Gotta pay attention as I'm crossing the road here. So yeah, we can just hop out for a second, have a look up. So it's kind of mainly gone in along a bit here, and then up the side along the road there's been a bit more clearance going on, but in around the actual, I guess, mobile phone mast, that is, there's still quite a lot of trees, which we can get back to later in the year. One thing I have certainly realized is that doing some timber is a good little earner. It's really brought us a couple of €100,000 to clear off this area, so that has really helped on the balance of things. There's a few branches still lying around, but yeah, there's been a good amount of clearance up here, and it's been good for our wallet. Obviously there is some work to do now and some investment to put back in in replanting the forest, and that will be an activity either for autumn or winter if the ground doesn't freeze. So we're just coming down by our cornfield here as well, and as you can see, that's growing quite nicely. We gave it its last round of fertilizer in the last episode, and it seems to be doing well with very little weeds in the field at all. So I'll just head down to the farm now, so we can get this stump ground out, and we'll get some of the bushes ripped up as well, and get the area cleared out a bit. Right, so we're back. It's quite a big stump that we got here, but we'll give it a shot. Let's see if this machine's gonna do it. I think it does, but it'll probably be in stages since this stump here is quite high up at least. So, but it seems to be chewing it up fairly well. Just keep pushing down on the stump here until we get it right down to ground level. And that was it. That was actually very quick. So the next stage is obviously to get a bit of the ground cleared up and dug out here, and we'll see if we can get that done using a few of the implements here on the farm, aka the landscaping tool. So see you in a bit when we got the clearing done. Okay, so we got quite a lot of the underbrush cleared out, and got a load of gravel delivered in the meantime as well, just so we could level off the ground a bit here. So we'll see if we can now get a bale stack placed here. Right, so here we go. We have a flat area for straw right now, but it will enable us to place down the bales as they come in during the harvest. There's a little bit of unevenness on the ground here now. There's a little bit of a hump here, for example, but we kind of had to level off the ground a bit in order to fit it in, and the road is pretty broad here, so I don't think it's going to be a massive issue. So that was one of our main tasks for today as well. I reckon this is going to be a fairly short episode. There's no field work going on. Animals are kind of tending to themselves, but there's one more job. In the last episode we stopped in by the builders market to pick or to inquire about some additional lighting, just to be able to move around the farm during harvest time, and I've had a call that's come in, that's waiting for us down at the market. So I'm gonna hop down and pick that one up, bring it back to the farm. We're not going to use it right away, but I think it'll be quite handy, for example, around that bale stack. At the time when harvest is in full swing, we don't want to kind of lose time because it's too dark and we can't see what we're doing. So we'll see how it goes. But for now, I'm just going to head down and get this thing picked up and brought back to the farm. Still don't know what all of these cement trucks are doing around here, but there's an uncanny amount of them in the area. I've heard speculations that something secret is being built underneath the map. Anyway, we're heading off to the builders market, and I think we can overtake now. Okie dokie, so we'll just pull in and see what they got to say first of all, figure out whether it's been delivered here or whether we need to go and pick it up somewhere else. Okay, so good news is it's been delivered here and it's ready to be picked up. We've already paid for it in advance after they confirmed that it was possible to order, so it should be around the back. of the building, just a bit further down towards the sawmill, the guy at the information booth was saying, and cleared off the paperwork and warranties and all that kind of stuff, so we're basically good to take it home now. So I guess technically speaking we're a goods vehicle now, so we are allowed into this area. So I don't know exactly where it is around here. I guess there's some kind of loading bay. Ah, that must be our setting here. I don't see any other ones. And I don't think there's any trucks coming to deliver anything right now. So we'll get our floodlight trailer put on the back here. Let's just take a quick look at it. So it's quite nice. It's adjustable so that each set of lights can be rotated. There's a telescopic mast on it that'll allow us to raise and lower it. So I think it'll be a really useful tool. Not that the farm is badly lit in general, but there are a few areas where it might come in handy to have some extra light, and if nothing else, perhaps during the winter, if conditions allow us to work up in the forest, it might be nice to be able to throw some light on the operation up there as well. But for now we're really just taking it back to the farm and putting it under cover, since it's all brand spanking new. So actually, as we're driving back, there's one other update on the map here. That is that I spent a bit of our additional income from logging on buying in some more pigs. 2 trailer loads in fact, so that's about 64 pigs I think. So we're now up to 164 pigs now. Obviously there's a bit of a time difference between them, so some of them are getting quite large, and then we got some new ones in for fattening up basically. I don't think we're planning to sell either set right away. These people are really slow. But it does mean that the pigs look reasonably profitable actually with what we put into them in terms of grain and effort so far. So I am thinking that we might actually try and expand the pigs even a little bit further. The stables in Eiersholt has now in the updated version room for an impressive 1,500 pigs. So we're not going to run short of space for pigs anytime soon. So it might be interesting to try and get some more. But it does mean that the corn we're growing up in the field, I had originally thought about, oh dear, we have hit a bump in the road. Right, okay, anyway, back to it. What I was saying that the cornfield that we had originally planned to perhaps cut more for silage, I think we will now instead get a corn header for the combine and keep that, because corn is obviously one of the primary foods for pigs, and keep it going that way. And what we're going to be doing instead is that in late summer we're going to make a cut for silage out on the grass field, and then maybe we'll get a third cut in later in autumn. It might just be a light small cut to bring in a little bit of additional hay as well. So I think that's how the plan has changed. We are going to be keeping the corn of field 31. I'm going to put this floodlight trailer up in the shed here since we're not currently using it for anything else, although if we do end up filling up the bale stack there, then this shed is likely to be the kind of overflow area that we're going to be putting it into. So the bump in the road there's not too bad. It's really only if you're right up against the bale stack. So I'm quite pleased with that. So we've got our floodlight trailer in place. We got our new bale stack sorted out here. I hope the road's going to be okay. I think it should be fine. It looks okay. It doesn't look too bad at all. So this was really just a little bit of a short update on some summer activities here on Eiersholt. We are moving towards late summer silage work, I think, for cutting the grass, and then after that it'll be harvest time. So this episode is a little bit shorter than they sometimes are, but I thought it would be good to get a little update out anyway. So thank you very much for watching from Overclocked Gaming, and see you again soon.